you will recall that three of us, myself as Secretary, Zonal Secretary of the South-South zone of our party, the chairman of our party in Imo State, and of course his Abia State counterpart, had approached the Federal High Court here in Abuja on a few issues of concern, especially as they have to do with undemocratic practices within our party and the process leading up to our convention, which we felt were not in line with our constitution, the Electoral Act, electoral guidelines, and of course the 1999 constitution of our dear country. And principal among our concerns was the issue dealing with state congresses. We felt that by our procedure, congresses ought to have been concluded by our party in almost, if not all, at least substantial number of states that will form the bulk of delegates to the National Convention. And of course, we were aspirant. I was aspiring for the position of the National Secretary. Likewise, my colleagues on this side. And we looked forward to the guidelines. We didn't see any. Timetables, we couldn't find any. We went to the Secretariat to inquire. We could purchase forms and all that. We couldn't find any. And in all of those frustrations, we approached the court to answer a few questions. It is now public knowledge that we did got judgment in our favor, delivered by the Honorable Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court on the 31st of October 2025. Now, it is important to clarify a few issues because there have been concerns. We're acting as proxies to stop PDP Convention. We're undermining the party's progress. We want to kill the party. Now, in the build-up of all of this and after the judgment, the party's Board of Trustees set up a committee, a fact-finding committee to pursue reconciliation. That committee have done a detailed job, consulted widely with all interest groups and parties involved in all of this whole crisis, and came up with a report. That report, as party members were privy to it, and it was important to us to point out so that the Nigerian public can know and be educated that we acted in good faith and we acted in line with good conscience. I would like to draw your attention, gentlemen of the press, to one of the points noted by the committee in its report. And that point is as illustrated from the meeting of the committee with the members of our party's NWC, who are with the suspended national chairman, His Excellency Ambassador Umar Damagum. The committee met with Damagum and his team, and from the report that Damagum himself and his team gave to the committee, they highlighted a few things that they felt were the problems in the party. And number 5 on that list, which for emphasis I want to read out, they talked about trickery. And this is what the committee highlighted, quoting Damagum to have told them. He said, the National Organizing Secretary, as part of problems now, the National Organizing Secretary was accused of running a one-man show and having a hidden agenda that negatively impacted state congresses. This is coming from Damagum now, admitting to the fact that truly state congresses were negatively impacted, which goes to show that we were right all along when we said that this party have not been able to hold successful congresses in a number of our states, 14 of them. And one wonders how you go on with a national convention disenfranchising delegates from 14 states, including a whole zone, which is the Southeast. You know, so we felt it was important because they will hide these reports from the public. Well, they don't want you to find out the truth. They keep acting with impunity. Now, what are the recommendations of this committee? High-powered committee set up by the party's BOT. They all signed. All members of the committee, chairman and all of them signed this report. Now, what were their recommendations? Gentlemen of the press, I want you to listen. They noted, they made some the finding of facts after reviewing all their work. And in their finding of fact, by way of summary, they say, in the course of this assignment, we found out that friction, distrust, and lack of sincerity had festered for too long among the key players, the bracketed governors and NWC members. And then fact-finding number one, they say, the year 2027 became an issue with regards to who gets what. This affected the smooth running of the party. Number two, they said, job descriptions were tampered with within the NWC. The spirit of carrying each other along got affected. Camps became brittled within. Loyalties got shifted more to individuals than to the party. These are their findings. Now, what were their recommendations? One, they say going ahead with the convention at this time must be subject to favorable legal status and disposition of INEC. Two, they say, however, considering the multiple court orders and judgments, INEC is not likely going to monitor the convention. Three, they said accordingly, an all-inclusive caretaker committee is recommended because a failed convention will incapacitate tenability of the party to field candidates at various levels, of course, nationally. Then number four, they say for this to be affected, that should have been affected, but they wrote affected here. All the NWC should reverse to status quo ante immediately. They said suspension order should be lifted and all parties brought together for genuine reconciliation. They also made some other recommendation. BOT must be given its pride of place, party must be supreme, and all of that and all that. These were key recommendations, and as we have noted, signed by all of them. This same leadership of suspended chairman, in their characteristic manner, have jettisoned a report of a high-level committee set up by the party's BOT and say they are going ahead with convention. Of course, this exonerates us, and we are vindicated. We are vindicated because an independent panel have come up to highlight the very issues that took us to court in the first instance, for which the court agreed with us. Now the party has agreed with us, because the BOT is the conscience of our party. And if a committee set up by BOT have agreed with us, following from confessions made by Damagum and co. to the extent that the things we were complaining about were right all along, then Nigerians needed to know the truth and to know who is on the side of the law and who is on the side of impunity. The committee has this to say. For this to be effected, that is this recommendation, for it to happen, all the NWC should reverse to status quo ante immediately. That is a clear path towards, results. So once that happens, of course, you know that the party has a structure. The national chairman, the secretary, and all, they have their rules. To sit down to get NEC to approve a caretaker committee will not then be an issue. So I'm sure that answers your question. Yes. Then on the convention going ahead, in law, the first judgment of Justice Omotosho is already before the appellate court. The practice is that once you have a matter before the Court of Appeal, all parties to it ought to and rightly should maintain status quo as it is. You don't take any further step. It doesn't matter whether there is an order from Ibadan High Court or anywhere. So far, the subject matter of convention is before the appellate court. You match your break. But again, the people we are dealing with, they thrive in impunity. Now, there is a second leg to it, unlawful exclusion. That is what has been decided today by Justice Lifu. So if the convention goes ahead, what it means is that clearly His Excellency Alhaji Sule Lamido would have been unlawfully excluded. And we don't need the soothsayer to tell us what follows a case of unlawful exclusion in any election, be it even the election to the office of the President of Nigeria. Unlawful exclusion comes with its consequences, and they have their self to blame. But the point to note is that there is no PDP convention going on tomorrow or any date anywhere in Nigeria, because the leadership of this party had said yesterday, the acting national chairman, together with the national secretary of the party, who has the statutory role to issue notice, to inform delegates of time, venue, and place of convention. Nobody takes that function away from the national secretary. He has issued a notice to say that there is no PDP convention anywhere. So I think that's the position of the party.